The bright lights of the alien ship blinded Kate as she stepped onto the metal platform. Her heart raced as the tall, blue-skinned creatures surrounded her. 4 arms and glowing silver eyes made them look like something from her wildest dreams. But this was real. The ship had landed 3 days ago in the middle of the Nevada desert, and the world was still in shock. Kate was chosen as one of the human representatives because of her work in linguistics. She had spent years studying how language formed and evolved across cultures. Now she faced the ultimate test, trying to understand beings from another world. The leader of the aliens stepped forward. She was taller than the others, with skin that shimmered like the ocean under moonlight. Her name was Zora. At least that was how Kate understood it. Their language consisted of clicks and musical tones that human vocal cords could not copy. "Welcome to the Galactic Union," Zora said through a translation device hanging from her neck. "We have been watching your planet for many cycles." Kate nodded, trying to appear calm despite her racing heart. "What is the purpose of your visit to Earth?" Zora gestured with her upper arms while her lower ones remained still, a gesture Kate would later learn indicated formal communication. "We seek allies. The universe is vast, but intelligent life is rare. Your species has potential despite your limitations." Kate felt a mix of pride and offense at the statement. "What limitations do you mean?" Zora made a sound. That might have been a laugh. "Your bodies are fragile, your technology primitive, your lifespans brief. Yet you have survived and thrived on a planet that should have destroyed you long ago. This interests us." The other aliens moved around the ship. Pressing glowing symbols on invisible screens, Kate caught glimpses of star maps and what looked like battle plans. Her stomach tightened with worry. "Are you at war?" she asked. "Not yet," Zora replied. "But soon the void swarm approaches from the dark space. Between galaxies, they consume all in their path. We have been gathering allies from across the stars to stand against them." Kate struggled to process this information. "Why would you need humans if we're so primitive compared to you?" Another alien stepped forward. This one had purple skin with patterns that shifted like clouds. Her name was Lyra, second in command of the ship. "Our scientists believe humans possess something unique. Among all species we have encountered, you adapt the fastest to new situations. Your minds are flexible in ways ours are not." Zora nodded. "Your people call it creativity. We call it chaos thinking. It may be our greatest weapon against the swarm." The aliens led Kate deeper into the ship. The walls glowed with soft blue. Light in the air smelled like cinnamon and ozone, strange but not unpleasant. They entered a large room where screens showed images of Earth cities, deserts, oceans, and jungles. "We have been studying your world for 100 of your years," Lyra explained. "Our observers have lived among you, learning your ways. Some look like you thanks to biological modification. Others remain hidden." Kate felt a chill run down her spine. Aliens had been living on Earth for a century and no one knew. She thought of all the strange sightings and unexplained phenomena over the years. How many had been these observers? Why reveal yourselves now? Kate asked. Zora touched a screen and it changed to show a dark mass moving between stars. "The void swarm grows closer. We no longer have the luxury of patience. We need to prepare your world." Kate watched the screen with growing dread. The mass looked like a cloud of insects moving with purpose toward inhabited worlds. "How much time do we have?" 20 of your Earth years," Zora replied. Perhaps less. Kate thought of her sister, her friends, her favorite coffee shop by the lake. 20 years seemed both forever and no time at all to prepare for the end of everything. "What do you need from us?" Kate asked, her voice steadier. Then she felt Zora touched Kate's shoulder with one of her 4 hands. "We need 500 of your best minds. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, artists, musicians, writers like yourself." Kate blinked in surprise. "I'm a linguist, not a writer," Zora made the laughing sound again. "You humans always put yourselves in such small boxes. You study how ideas move between minds. That is what we need. Your perspective, how you see problems, how you solve them." Lyra moved to a different screen. This one showed humans, from different countries, all with marks beside their names. We have selected candidates based on our observations. You will help us understand them, and they will help us defeat. The swarm Kate stared at the screen, seeing familiar faces. A Nobel Prize, winning physicist, a teenage chess prodigy, a farmer from Kenya known for innovative irrigation systems, people from all walks of life chosen for reasons she couldn't understand. What happens to Earth if we refuse to help? Kate asked. Zora's silver eyes dimmed. The swarm does not negotiate, they do not conquer. They consume everything, living beings, planets, even stars. Nothing remains but dust and darkness. Kate felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on her shoulders. She was just one woman, from a small town in Arizona who happened to be good with languages. Now she stood between humanity and extinction. When do we start? She asked. Now, Zora replied. The ship hummed around them as if responding to her words. The 500 have already been contacted. They will arrive within days. Then we journey to the Galactic Union core worlds where you will learn what you need to know. Kate thought of her small apartment, her unfinished research papers, her cat who would need someone to care for it. She had not prepared to leave Earth perhaps forever, but what choice did she have that night alone in the quarters assigned to her on the ship? Kate watched the stars through a window that seemed to be made of living crystal. They looked different, somehow knowing there was life out there. Intelligent beings with hopes and fears just like humans, and something dark and hungry coming for them all. She thought of all the stories she'd read as a child about alien invasions and the end of the world. None of them prepared her for this. The aliens weren't the threat. They were just as afraid as humans would be. They needed help, and somehow they thought humanity might have answers. The next morning, Kate woke to find new clothes laid out for her. The material felt like silk, but stronger, more flexible. She put them on, finding they fit perfectly adjusted to her body temperature. The alien technology was beyond anything she had imagined. Zora met her in the hallway. Today the others arrive, she said. Are you prepared to help them understand? Kate took a deep breath. No, she thought, but who would be? She nodded anyway. I'll do my best. Zora made a gesture with all four arms that somehow conveyed both respect and encouragement. That is all any being can offer. As the day progressed, Kate watched as helicopters and vehicles approached the ship carrying the chosen humans. Some looked excited, others terrified. All seemed overwhelmed by what they were seeing. A young woman with bright red hair approached Kate. You must be the linguist, she said. I'm Sammy, robotics engineer from Boston. This is crazy, right? Actual aliens. Kate nodded, feeling slightly less alone with another human nearby. It's beyond anything I could have imagined. Sammy looked up at the ship towering above them. Do you think we can really help them? Fight some space monsters? Before Kate could answer, Zora approached them. Humans have fought monsters throughout your history, she said. Some in the world around you, some within yourselves. You survived. That is why we chose you as more humans arrived. Kate found herself acting as a bridge between them and the aliens, explaining concepts, translating not just language but culture. She began to understand why she had been chosen. First, her skills were needed to make this impossible situation work. By sunset, all 500 had arrived. Scientists with multiple PhDs, soldiers with combat experience, artists, writers, musicians, people with unique ways of seeing the world. They gathered in the main hall of the ship as Zora prepared to address them. Kate stood at Zora's side, feeling small but important. The fate of Earth might depend on how well she could help these two groups understand each other. Zora raised her forearms for silence. The journey ahead will not be easy, she said, but together we may find a way to save not just Earth but all worlds from the darkness that comes. The Galactic Union welcomes you as our newest and perhaps most important allies, as the ship prepared to leave Earth. Kate looked out at the desert one last time. The journey to the stars was beginning and humanity would never be the same. The journey through space lasted 3 months Earth time, but felt both longer and shorter to Kate. The alien ship moved in ways that bent reality using technology she could barely comprehend. Stars streaked past the windows, and sometimes the ship seemed to skip through empty space like a stone across water. Life aboard the ship settled into a strange routine. The 500 humans adapted to alien food sleep cycles and gravity. The aliens called themselves the Lumina and seemed both impressed and confused by how quickly humans adjusted. Sammy, the robotics engineer, became Kate's closest friend. Together, they explored the ship, learning about Lumina technology. Sammy was especially interested in their robots, which moved like living things, with fluid grace. "These are amazing," Sammy said, examining a maintenance bot that crawled along the walls like a spider, but gentle as a butterfly. "Our robots are so clunky compared to these Zora who often joined them on these explorations." Nodded. "Your technology follows straight lines, ours follows curves." Like life itself, Kate noticed how the aliens seemed to think differently. Their language had 15 words for different types of connections between ideas, but no word for ownership. They shared everything, and found the human concept of personal property strange. The ship contained representatives from 12 alien species, besides the Lumina. Each had their own customs, beliefs, and abilities. Kate worked with all of them, learning their languages and helping other humans communicate. One species, the Velox, could move faster than human eyes could track. Their thoughts raced too, making them impatient with slower species. A human physicist named Diane developed a new mathematical language to communicate with them efficiently, earning their respect. Another species, the Terram, looked like walking trees. Their lifespans stretched thousands of years, and they spoke rarely, taking days to consider simple questions. A human poet named Marcus found he could communicate with them through carefully crafted verses that conveyed multiple meanings. As Kate learned more about the Galactic Union, she discovered it had existed for 50,000 years. Hundreds of species working together, sharing knowledge and resources. Earth had been known to them for centuries, but considered too primitive and violent for contact. Until now. Until the void. Swarm threatened everyone. One day, as the ship approached the core worlds, Zora took Kate to a special chamber deep within the vessel. Inside was a pool of glowing liquid that shifted colors like an aurora. "This is the memory pool," Zora explained. "It contains the collective knowledge of the Lumina going back to our beginning. It can share information directly with your mind if you are willing." Kate hesitated. "Is it safe?" Zora made the sound that Kate now recognized as laughter. "Safe. No knowledge is never safe, but it will not harm your brain physically, if that is your concern." Kate took a deep breath and nodded. "Show me the void swarm I need to understand what we're facing." Zora guided Kate to kneel beside the pool place. "Your hand on the surface and think of what you wish to know." Kate reached out, touching the liquid. It felt warm and seemed to tingle against her skin. She closed her eyes and thought about the void. Swarm. Suddenly she wasn't in the ship anymore. She floated in space, watching as a dark cloud moved between stars. It wasn't a cloud, though. It was billions of small creatures, moving together, sharing a hive mind. They consumed everything, organic and inorganic, breaking matter down to its basic elements and absorbing it. Kate saw them descend on a planet. Its oceans boiled away, its atmosphere stripped. Mountains, plants, animals, cities all dissolved into the swarm. Nothing remained but a barren rock, and the swarm moved on, larger, stronger. She pulled her hand away, gasping. Terror gripped her heart. How do you fight something like that? They have no individual consciousness. Zora explained. They cannot be reasoned with, they cannot be scared, they simply consume and multiply. The Galactic Union has fought 3 battles against their scout forces. We won, but barely. Each time they return stronger, as if they learn from defeat. Kate thought of Earth, blue and beautiful. Everyone she had ever known lived on that small planet. Now she understood why the aliens needed humans. Their weapons alone would not be enough. The next day, the ship arrived at Lumina Prime, the homeworld of Zora's people. It orbited twin suns and shimmered with cities that looked like they were grown rather than built. The oceans were pink, the plants purple and gold. The sky glowed with auroras even during daylight. The 500 humans were welcomed as Honored guests given quarters in a crystal tower that overlooked the capital city. Kate stood on her balcony, watching alien birds soar between spires. Their wings sparkled as if made from living gems. Sammy joined her, whistling low. We're really on another planet 20. Light years from Earth. Kate nodded. It still doesn't seem real. Sammy leaned against the railing. Tomorrow the Galactic Council meets. They say we'll be introduced to the other species. Kate had been briefing humans about what to expect. There are over 200 species in the Union. Not all are friendly to humans. Some think we're too dangerous to trust, others think we're too primitive to help. Sammy grinned. Well, prove them wrong. The next day the humans gathered in the Grand Assembly, a massive structure that seemed to be made of light itself. The ceiling opened to the sky and the floor was a map of the galaxy that moved and changed, showing real-time information. Representatives from hundreds of worlds filled the chamber. Some floated in bubbles of special atmosphere. Others wore mechanical suits to support bodies evolved for different gravity. Different shapes, sizes, colors, a dizzying display of life's variety across the stars. The human delegation entered, led by Kate, Zora, and the ship's captain. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to study the newcomers. Kate felt the weight of those stares, some curious, some hostile, some calculating. A being of pure energy contained in a crystalline shell floated to the center of the chamber. This is Elder Vox. Kate heard through her translator. The oldest living member of the Union, humans of Earth. Elder Vox's voice resonated in Kate's mind rather than her ears. You come to us in dire times, the darkness approaches, and we must stand together or fall alone. For millennia we have watched your species fight, grow, learn. Now we ask for your help in return. Tall insectoid being stepped forward, mandibles clicking. What help can these primitives offer? They barely understand faster than light travel. Their weapons are toys compared to ours. Zora moved to stand beside Kate. These primitives, as you call them, have something we lack. Ambassador Krex. Adaptability, creativity. Humans see patterns we miss. They find solutions where we see only problems. Another delegate, a being that looked like a cloud of blue smoke, spoke. Humans are violent, unpredictable. They still wage war on their own kind. How can we trust them with our technology? Kate surprised herself by stepping forward to address the council. She felt 500 human lives depending on her words and billions more back on Earth. Yes, we fight among ourselves, she said. But we also create art, music, literature. We explore, we discover, we dream, we look at the stars and imagine new possibilities. When we face extinction, we don't surrender. We find another way. That is what we offer you. New ways of thinking. The chamber buzzed with conversation. Some delegates nodded. Others gestured in what might have been disapproval. Elder Vox raised crystalline arms for silence. The human speaks truth. The void swarm cannot be defeated by weapons alone. It learns, adapts, overcomes. We need minds that think differently. We need humans. Over the following weeks, the humans were divided into groups based on their skills. Scientists worked with alien researchers studying the void swarm, looking for weaknesses. Soldiers trained with Union forces, learning to use advanced weapons. Artists, musicians, and writers shared human culture, building bridges between species. Kate worked with communication teams, developing better translation systems. She noticed something interesting. The more humans and aliens worked together, the more they influenced each other. Humans became more patient, more cooperative. Aliens became more innovative, more willing to take risks. Sammy developed a new type of robot that combined Union technology with human design principles. It could infiltrate the swarm, gathering information without being detected. The Union Council was impressed. Diane, the physicist working with the Velox, discovered a frequency that disrupted the swarm's hive mind temporarily. Not enough to defeat them, but a start. Marcus, the poet, created stories that helped different species understand each other, finding common ground in shared experiences of love, loss, and hope. Kate found herself in meetings with the highest levels of Union leadership. She saw plans for evacuations, defense systems, weapons platforms. Everything the Union had built over thousands of years was being prepared for the coming war. One night she stood with Zora on a cliff overlooking the pink ocean of Lumina Prime. 3 moons hung in the sky, casting multiple shadows. "Do you think we can win?" Kate asked. Zora was silent for a long moment, her forearms wrapped around herself in what Kate now recognized as a gesture of contemplation. "Before you humans came, I would have said no. Now I think perhaps we have a chance." Small but real, Kate looked up at the stars somewhere out there. The swarm was coming. "How long do we have?" "The latest scouts report 3 years, Zora said. 3 years to prepare for a war, unlike any the galaxy has seen. Kate thought of Earth, of her family, friends, her old life. It seemed like a dream now. She was changed by her time among the stars, seeing humanity from the outside, understanding both its flaws and its unique strengths. The return to Earth was both triumphant and tense. 7 massive Union ships appeared in the sky above major cities across the planet. People gathered in streets, parks, and rooftops to watch in awe and fear. The ships hovered silently, their hulls shimmering like mother of pearl in the sunlight. Kate stood beside Zora on the bridge of the lead vessel, watching live feeds from the surface below. News broadcasts showed crowds praying, crying, celebrating, or protesting. Military forces were on high. Alert missiles aimed at the sky. World leaders held emergency meetings. "This is the moment that changes everything," Kate said. "Everything humans believe about their place in the universe." Zora nodded, her silver eyes reflecting the image of Earth on the screen. "Your people stand at a crossroads. Some will embrace the stars. Others will fear them. This division is natural. We saw it on many worlds when they first joined the Union." The communication system chimed. A message from the United Nations. Security Council requested landing coordinates and a formal meeting. Kate helped draft the response, agreeing to their terms. The ship would land in a neutral location, the plains of Central Africa, with limited representatives from both sides. As the ship descended, Kate felt her heart racing. She had been away from Earth for almost a year. The air would smell different. The gravity would feel stronger. Everything would be both familiar and strange. The landing zone was surrounded by military vehicles. From a dozen nations, soldiers with weapons ready formed a perimeter. Helicopters circled overhead. The ship settled gently on the grass, creating barely a breeze despite its enormous size. Kate joined the delegation that would exit first, along with Zora, Sammy, and representatives from 5 other alien species. They stood in the airlock as the door prepared to open. "Ready?" Sammy asked, grinning, despite the tension. Kate nodded, as much as anyone can be. The door opened, revealing bright African sunlight. A platform extended to the ground. A line of humans in formal diplomatic attire waited below their faces, masks of professional calm that barely concealed their anxiety. Kate walked down first, as planned, a human face to reassure her own people. She wore her Union uniform but carried no weapons. The Earth diplomats visibly relaxed, seeing her. Kate Chen, she said, linguist and human liaison to the Galactic Union. "I bring representatives from 7 species with an urgent message for humanity." The next hours were a blur of introductions, explanations, and questions. Kate translated when the automated systems failed to capture nuance. She explained human customs to the aliens and alien biology to the humans. She watched as world leaders tried to process the reality of advanced civilizations and the threat of the void. Some were skeptical, others terrified. A few saw opportunity. The Chinese representative spoke of technology exchange. The Russian general asked about weapons. The American president wanted to discuss defense strategies. Zora addressed them with patience. "The Union offers knowledge and protection, but we need your help in return. Humans think differently than any species we have encountered. This unique perspective may be key to defeating the swarm." The meetings continued for days, expanding to include scientists, religious leaders, and military strategists. The news spread across Earth, causing both panic and wonder. Churches filled, militias formed, scientists applied in droves to work with alien technology. Kate found herself becoming a celebrity, her face on screens worldwide. the human who went to the stars. She handled interviews with patients explaining the Union, its peoples, and its technology. She spoke honestly about the Void Swarm, not minimizing the danger but emphasizing that humans were not alone. 3 months after the landing, the first phase of cooperation began. The Union established bases on Earth, sharing medical technology that cured diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. This gesture of goodwill helped ease fears. Communication systems were upgraded, allowing instant connection across the planet, and beyond education programs introduced humans to galactic history and science. Kate divided her time between Earth and orbit, working with integration teams helping humans adjust to alien presence and aliens understand human customs. The work was exhausting but vital. She watched as her world transformed daily, growing beyond its isolation. Sammy led a team developing hybrid technology, combining human ingenuity with alien materials. Her robots became central to Union defense plans, able to operate in ways the swarm could not anticipate. Not everyone welcomed the changes. Religious extremists claimed the aliens were demons. Corporate interests feared losing control as advanced technology made their products obsolete. Military leaders worried about Earth becoming dependent on alien protection. Kate was leaving a conference in Geneva when the first attack came. A group calling themselves Earth first detonated bombs near a Union medical facility. The explosion killed 3 aliens and 17 humans. Kate felt the blast from blocks away, the ground shaking beneath her feet. She ran toward the smoke, not away from it, finding chaos and carnage. Emergency teams, both human and alien, worked to save the injured. Union technology sealed wounds, regenerated damaged tissue, saved lives that would have been lost with Earth. Medicine alone, Kate helped where she could, translating for medical teams. She found Zora coordinating rescue efforts, all 4 arms, moving in concert, directing resources. This was inevitable. Zora said, her voice sad but not surprised. Every world faces resistance when change comes too quickly. Kate looked at the destruction, anger rising in her throat. Don't they understand what's coming? This fighting among ourselves only helps the swarm. Zora placed a hand on Kate's shoulder. They fear what they do, not understand. Fear makes beings of all species irrational. The attacks continued, growing more coordinated. Earth first claimed responsibility, releasing manifestos about human independence and alien conspiracy theories. They targeted Union facilities and humans who worked closely with aliens. Kate began receiving death threats. Her family was moved to a secure location. Despite the violence, the work continued. Union ships arrived in orbit, bringing more technology, more representatives from distant worlds. Earth's brightest minds trained with alien mentors, learning sciences beyond human discovery. Solar system defenses were constructed, massive platforms armed with weapons that could shatter moons. 2 years after first contact, Kate stood in the new United Earth Defense Center built beneath the Rocky Mountains. She watched as screens showed the progress of preparations, fleets under construction, defense grids extending beyond Neptune, mining operations on distant asteroids, harvesting materials for weapons and ships. Sammy joined her, wiping grease from her hands. Her robots now handled the most dangerous construction work in space. Got a minute? She asked. I want to show you something. She led Kate to a secure lab deep within the facility. Inside stood a humanoid figure, slightly taller than an average person. Its surface shifted colors like oil on water. Its eyes glowed with soft blue light. Meet, Adam, Sammy said with pride. Our latest prototype, a combat synthetic with a human, mind matrix and Union technology. It's designed to infiltrate the swarm, gather intelligence, and if necessary, fight from within. Kate circled the figure, impressed. The Union Council approved. This, Sammy nodded. They were hesitant at first. The Lumina consider creating artificial life ethically complicated. But the Velox supported us. They understand the need for speed. The swarm won't hesitate to evolve new forms to fight us. We need to do the same. Kate reached out, touching the synthetic's arm. It felt warm, almost alive. How many can we make? 20,000 in the first year, Sammy said. If we dedicate all available resources, maybe more as we refine the process. A chime sounded throughout the facility, followed by a voice over the communication system. All senior staff to the command center. Priority 1 alert. Kate and Sammy exchanged worried glances. They hurried through corridors, passing humans and aliens working side by side. The command center was a massive chamber filled with holographic displays and monitoring stations. Zora stood at the center with United Earth military commanders. "What's happening?" Kate asked. Zora pointed to a display showing the outer solar system. A scout ship detected anomalous readings near Pluto. "Something is coming through subspace." Not using the regular jump points, the room fell silent, all eyes on the display as they watched. Dark shapes appeared small at first, then growing multiple contacts moving fast toward the inner planets. "It's them," Kate whispered. "The swarm." A Union military officer, a tall crystalline being named Commander Lix, confirmed her fear. "Swarm signature matches previous encounters. But this is much larger than any previous scout force." "How long do we have?" the American general asked. "At current velocity." 3 Earth days, Commander Lix replied. "They will reach Mars in 60 hours. Earth in 72. The room erupted in controlled chaos as defense protocols activated. Worldwide Union ships moved to defensive positions. Earth military forces went to maximum alert. Cities began evacuation procedures, moving people to underground shelters. Kate felt ice in her veins. 3 days. The preparations were not complete. The hybrid fleet was only partially constructed. The defense grid had gaps. The planet was not ready. Zora gathered the senior staff. "Our intelligence suggested we had months, not days. The swarm must have developed faster jump technology. This changes our strategy. We cannot rely on attrition now. We need a decisive victory." Commander Lix nodded grimly. "We have 35 Union battleships in system. They carry our most powerful weapons, but against a swarm this size." The sky burned. The void. Swarm hit the outer defense grid like a wave against rocks. The Union battleships fired weapons that tore holes in space itself. Explosions bloomed in silence, visible from Earth as new stars that flashed and died. Kate watched from the command center as the battle unfolded. The holographic display showed Union forces in blue, swarm forces in red. There was too much red spreading, dividing, surrounding the defenders. "The first line has been breached," Commander Lix announced, her crystalline form pulsing with stress patterns. "The swarm adapts quickly. They've already developed countermeasures to our phase disruptors." How Zora demanded those weapons were developed specifically for this encounter. They were untested in combat. "The swarm consumes technology as well as biomass," Lix replied. "They learn from what they destroy." Kate turned to Sammy, who was monitoring her synthetic soldiers deployed throughout the battlefield. "How are they doing?" Sammy's face was grim. "We're losing units fast, but they're gathering valuable data. The swarm communication frequency keeps shifting. Our jammers can't keep up." A human general approached the central table. "Mars defensive platforms are gone," he reported. "They didn't even slow the swarm. Down Luna base is evacuating now." Zora's forearms moved rapidly over control surfaces, coordinating the Union fleet. "We need to consolidate our forces. Form a tight defense around Earth. Is that retreat?" Commander Lix asked, her voice sharp. "Tactical repositioning." Zora replied. "We cannot win by matching the swarm ship for ship. They outnumber us. We need to use Earth's gravity well to our advantage." The battle continued for hours. Union ships performed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. Human fighters darted between larger vessels, launching experimental weapons. The swarm pressed forward, inexorable, consuming everything in its path. Debris from destroyed ships created a new ring around Mars. Kate worked with communication teams, ensuring orders reached all forces clearly. Messages between different species needed careful translation. Mistakes could cost lives. She pushed herself beyond exhaustion, running on stimulants and fear. "The swarm will reach Earth orbit in 3 hours." Lix announced, "We've lost 40% of our combat capacity." Zora called Kate, Sammy, and key military leaders to a secure chamber away from the main command center. Her silver eyes were dark with fatigue, but her voice remained steady. "We cannot win this battle conventionally," she said. "The swarm is too numerous, too adaptive. Our current strategy will fail. Earth will fall. The room was silent as her words sank in. However, Zora continued, I have received authorization from the Union Council to deploy the Nexus Key. The alien leaders in the room gasped. Commander Lix's crystalline body actually cracked with shock. That technology is forbidden. It has not been used in 10,000 years. What is the Nexus Key? Kate asked, looking between the aliens. Zora hesitated. The Lumina discovered long ago that reality is more flexible than it appears. The Nexus Key can create a temporary fold in space-time, a bubble where the normal laws of physics can be altered. A human general leaned forward. And how does that help us if we can lure the main swarm consciousness into this bubble? Zora explained we can change the rules. The swarm depends on certain physical constants for its hive mind to function. If we alter those constants, its consciousness will fragment. Lix finished, like shattering glass. Exactly, Sammy said, understanding immediately. Without the hive mind, the individual components are just mindless drones. They'll be disorganized. Easy to mop up. But Kate saw the hesitation in Zora's posture. There's a catch, isn't there? Zora nodded. Someone must deliver the key to the exact center of the swarm and activate it manually. The carrier will be trapped in the bubble when it forms. There is no escape. The room fell silent again. Everyone understood Zora was describing a suicide mission. I'll do it, Sammy said immediately. My synthetic soldiers can't get close enough to the control node, but I've been working on a stealth transport. That's why I was in the lab earlier. No, Kate said. We can't ask anyone to. Sammy cut her off with a raised hand. We're talking about the survival of Earth, maybe the entire Union. Someone has to do this. I've been studying the swarm longer than anyone else. I know how to find its center commander. Lix turned to Zora. The human volunteer is acceptable. The council will approve. Kate wanted to protest, but saw the determination in Sammy's eyes. This was why humans had been brought into the Union. Their willingness to sacrifice for others. Their determination. Their refusal to accept defeat. The plan came together quickly. Sammy would pilot a hybrid craft designed with both Union stealth technology and human engineering. The ship was small, fast, and nearly undetectable. Its hull incorporated materials that mimicked the swarm's own biological signature. The Nexus Key itself was brought from a secure Union vault. A crystalline device no larger than a human hand. It pulsed with energy that seemed to bend light around it. Zora instructed Sammy in its use, explaining the precise sequence needed to activate it, and the timing required. Kate helped Sammy prepare checking systems, running diagnostics. They worked in silence for a time. Then Sammy spoke. Remember when we first met on the ship, Kate? When all this started, Kate nodded, her throat tight, with emotion. You were so excited about alien robots. Sammy laughed. That seems like a lifetime ago. I was this nerdy engineer who thought building better machines was the height of achievement. Now I'm about to rewrite physics to save the planet. Tell my parents I was thinking of them, okay? Sammy continued, her voice softer, and my sister. Make sure they know why I did this. Kate gripped her friend's hand. I will, I promise. They'll know their daughter saved humanity. Saved everyone. As Sammy made final preparations, Zora approached Kate. This human sacrifice will not be forgotten, she said. The Union will remember Sammy's name for 10,000 years. The launch window approached. The swarm now filled the sky, visible from Earth without telescopes, a dark mass blotting out the stars. Union and human forces fought desperately, holding a corridor open for Sammy's small ship to pass through. Kate stood in the command center, watching Sammy's vital signs on a monitor. The ship accelerated toward the heart of the swarm. Union weapons fired continuously, clearing a path through the seething darkness. Sammy's voice came through clear and calm on the communications channel. Approaching target zone, she reported. Swarm density, increasing, navigation, getting difficult. Kate held her breath, watching as the small blue dot representing Sammy's ship pushed deeper into the red mass. The swarm seemed to realize something was happening. Tendrils of darkness reached toward the ship, but Sammy was skilled too fast. The ship darted between gaps, changed direction unpredictably. "I'm at the center," Sammy reported. "I can sense it. The hive mind. It's like a pressure in my head. They know I'm here. Activate the key now." Commander Lix ordered. Negative. Sammy replied, "I need to go deeper. Find the actual control node. I can feel it pulling me." Kate exchanged worried glances with Zora. The plan called for activation at the calculated center. Sammy was improvising a dangerous choice against an enemy that adapted so quickly. "Sammy, the hive mind will overwhelm your ship's systems," Kate warned. "You don't have much time. Trust me." Sammy's voice came through static, growing stronger. "I know what I'm doing. Remember how I said humans see patterns others miss? I can see the pattern here. The real center isn't where we calculated it. The transmission cut off. The display showed Sammy's ship vanishing from sensors." "What happened?" Kate demanded. "Did the swarm get her?" Zora and Lix worked frantically at control panels. "Negative." Zora said. "She's gone silent deliberately. To hide from the swarm, she's still moving. We just can't track her." Minutes passed in tense silence. The swarm continued its advance. Earth's outer atmosphere began to glow as the first tendrils of the enemy touched the upper layers. Union ships formed a last defensive line. Then a pulse of energy erupted from deep within the swarm. A sphere of distorted space expanded rapidly. The swarm writhed, as if in pain. Sections separated from the main mass, moving erratically without purpose. "She did it," Lix exclaimed. "The Nexus key is active. The bubble is forming on the display." The heart of the swarm seemed to fold in on itself, twisting into impossible geometries. The hive mind trapped in a pocket of space, where the laws of physics had changed. The individual components of the swarm scattered without direction. Union and Earth forces pressed the advantage, destroying the confused enemy. The battle turned in minutes from certain defeat to possible victory. Kate watched, feeling both elation and grief. Sammy was gone, trapped in the bubble of altered reality. Her sacrifice had saved billions, but the cost was too high. As the hours passed, the remaining swarm forces were destroyed. The threat, eliminated, Earth had survived its first interstellar war. But Kate knew it would not be the last. The Void Swarm would return eventually, stronger and more adapted. They always did, 1 week after the battle. Kate stood with Zora on a hillside watching the sunset. The sky was clear again, though sometimes debris from the battle created spectacular light shows at night. A memorial had been erected in Geneva, a simple obelisk of Union crystal and earthstone, with Sammy's name first among the honored dead. The Union Council has voted, Zora said. Earth is now a full member world, no longer a protectorate. Your people have earned their place among the stars. Kate nodded, feeling both pride and sorrow. What happens now? 5 years passed since the Battle of Earth. The planet had transformed in ways Kate could never have imagined. Gleaming cities incorporating Union architecture rose from the ruins of war. Teleportation platforms connected continents, making travel. Instant energy was clean and abundant. Disease was becoming a memory. Children studied galactic history alongside Earth history. Kate had changed too. She now served as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Union. Her role took her to dozens of worlds, meeting species so different from humans that communication required special technology. She had learned 7 alien languages and helped write the translation matrices for 12 more. Today she stood on the observation deck of the Union flagship, Stellar Harmony, watching as a new fleet of hybrid vessels performed maneuvers near Jupiter's orbit. The ships combined Union technology with human design principles, making them smaller, faster, more unpredictable. Human pilots flew with an intuition that alien computers could not match. Commander Lix, now promoted to Admiral, joined Kate by the viewport. Her crystalline body gleamed in the starlight. These ships would have been impossible before humans joined us, she admitted. The Union thought. In straight lines, humans think in spirals. Kate smiled at the compliment. We had good teachers. A young human officer approached, saluting both of them. Ambassador Chen, Admiral Lix, the ceremony is ready to begin. They followed him through corridors, bustling. With activity, humans worked alongside aliens from 20 species. The segregation of the early years had faded as trust grew. Kate remembered the first mixed crews, how awkward they had been. Now they moved in harmony, each species contributing its strengths. The main assembly hall was filled with representatives from across the Union. Many had traveled for weeks to attend this ceremony. Kate took her place on the raised platform beside Zora, now High Counselor of the Lumina and Earth's strongest ally in the Union. Elder Vox floated to the center of the platform, his crystalline shell glowing with inner light. "We gather today to witness a historic moment," he announced, "the activation of the SHIELD network, a defense system spanning not just Earth, but the entire Sol system." The crowd applauded. Kate felt pride swell in her chest. The SHIELD network had been her proposal, combining Union energy technology with human satellite design, creating an interconnected web that could detect and respond to threats across vast distances. High Counselor Zora stepped forward. "5 years ago, the Void Swarm came to this system," she said. "They believed they found a primitive world ripe for consumption. Instead, they found warriors worthy of the Union. Humans fought not just for themselves, but for all sentient life. Their courage, their sacrifice showed us what unity truly means." A holographic display activated above the platform, showing the network of satellites, defense platforms, and monitoring stations encircling the solar system. 500 points of light connected by energy beams. With this activation, Earth becomes not just a member of the Union, but a cornerstone of our mutual defense. Kate stepped forward to press her hand to the activation crystal, a symbolic gesture as the actual system was controlled by massive computers, but symbols mattered especially to some of the older Union species. The crystal glowed beneath her touch, and throughout the solar system, the SHIELD network came fully online. A cheer rose from the assembled delegates, human and alien voices blending together. Kate remembered the fear and suspicion of first contact, how far they had all come. After the ceremony, Kate found herself on a smaller observation deck watching Earth spin below. The blue planet seemed both familiar and strange now. Her home, but changed forever. Someone joined her at the viewport, a tall figure in a Union science uniform. Kate recognized her immediately, though it had been years since they had spoken face to face. "Beth," she said, embracing the other woman. "How is the research going?" Beth, Sammy's younger sister, had followed in her footsteps, studying Union technology and human integration. She now led a team exploring the physics of the Nexus Key, the device that had saved Earth at the cost of her sister's life. "We've made a breakthrough," Beth said, her eyes bright with excitement. "The bubble dimension isn't completely sealed. We've detected quantum fluctuations consistent with information transfer." Kate felt her heart rate increase. "Are you saying?" Beth nodded. "We think consciousness can survive in the altered physics of the bubble. Sammy might still be alive." In some form, Kate gripped the railing to steady herself. "After all, this time, is there any way to?" Beth held up a hand. "We're years away from any rescue attempt. But yes, theoretically, if we can establish communication first. Build a bridge." Kate looked back at Earth, thinking of all Sammy had sacrificed, thinking she would die to save her world. Instead, she might be trapped conscious in a pocket of altered reality. "For 5 years, we'll find a way," Kate said with determination. "If anyone deserves a second chance, it's Sammy." Beth smiled sadly. "I know I've dedicated my life to it, but that's not why I wanted to talk to you. The Void Swarm. We've been analyzing the fragments destroyed in the battle. They're evolving faster than we predicted." Kate felt a chill run through her. "How much time?" "The outer colonies might see scout forces within 2 years," Beth said. "Full invasion fleets in 5, maybe less." Kate nodded, taking in the information without surprise. The Union intelligence had suggested similar timelines. The swarm always returned stronger, more adapted. The victory at Earth had been significant but not decisive. "That's why the SHIELD network is so important," she said, "and why the Union is accelerating the defense grid around all core worlds." Not just Earth. Beth handed her a datapad, the plans for next generation synthetic soldiers. The ones Sammy designed before. The ones that might be able to communicate directly with the swarm, disrupt it from within. Kate reviewed the specifications. The Union Council has approved this. Beth nodded. They're learning that human approaches, while sometimes chaotic, often work. She hesitated. We need a name for the project, something fitting. Kate thought for a moment. Project Phoenix, she suggested. After the mythical bird that rises from its own ashes, like humanity, has risen from the brink of destruction. Like we hope Sammy might. Beth smiled. That's perfect. Later that evening, Kate attended a diplomatic reception on the ship's garden deck. Representatives from 50 worlds mingled among exotic plants from across the galaxy. The air filled with languages, music, and the scent of flowers that had evolved on planets circling distant suns. Kate found Zora near a fountain that seemed to defy gravity, water flowing upward in spirals of light. The Lumina leaders, Silver Eyes, watched the humans in the crowd. You look troubled, Kate said. Zora made a gesture with her lower arms that Kate recognized as contemplative. The Union is changing faster than ever before, she said, since humans joined us. Technologies, politics, philosophies all transforming. Some elder species fear this change. Kate sipped her drink. Understanding the concern. Humans move quickly, adapt quickly. It can be unsettling to those who measure change in centuries, not years. Zora turned to face her, fully. The next wave of the swarm will be unlike anything we've faced. They learn from each defeat, grow stronger. But so do we. Thanks to humans, the Union is no longer stagnant. We innovate. We adapt. We become unpredictable. Like you, a movement. Caught Kate's attention. A group of children, human and alien, played together near a stand of glowing trees. They had no memory of a time before first contact. To them, the Union was normal. Aliens were friends. The stars were not distant points of light, but places to visit the future, Kate said, gesturing toward the children. They will face challenges we cannot imagine, but they will face them together. That is what matters. Zora made the Lumina gesture of agreement, all four arms moving in harmony. Perhaps that is why the universe brought our species together, not just to fight the swarm, but to create something new, something neither humans nor the Union could become alone. The reception continued around them, diplomats making alliances, scientists sharing, discoveries warriors comparing techniques, all under the light of Earth visible through the transparent ceiling. A blue jewel in the vastness of space. One world among many, now part of something greater. The next morning, Kate prepared to return to Earth. Her duties as ambassador required her presence at the United Earth Council. She packed her belongings, including gifts from alien dignitaries and a small crystal containing memories of her visits to 12 worlds. A message chimed on her communication. Device priority alert from Union deep space monitors. She activated it, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. A holographic display formed, showing a sector far from Earth beyond Union space. Something was moving there. Something large. A shadow, passing between stars. Not the swarm. Something else unknown. Unidentified sensors indicated it was changing course, heading toward Union territory. Kate immediately contacted Union Command, sharing the information. A new discovery, perhaps a new threat, or possibly a new ally. The universe was vast, filled with wonders and dangers. Humanity was only beginning to understand, as her transport prepared to depart. Kate looked out at the stars, feeling both small and significant. Earth was no longer alone. In the cosmos, its people no longer isolated on their blue world. The path ahead held challenges that would test them, wars that would scar them, discoveries that would transform them. But they would face it all as part of the galactic community. Their voice growing stronger, their influence spreading among the stars.